We used to have Where's Jessica?
She'll be here shortly. Her phone didn't change over.
Oh no!
So I've been here, she'll be here like within like 2 days. Hopefully.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So, excuse me, for those on Zoom, we've just learned that Jessica didn't change her phone. So we are waiting for music, but I think we should start without her. It's after 10:30. Good morning, everyone. My name's Marilyn Chenier, and I'm your service leader for the day. It's my pleasure to welcome all of you to the Universalist Unitarian community of Halifax. We are an open-minded, open-hearted spiritual community of curious and compassionate seekers. As UUs, we recognize the truths of the universe are too complex to be summed up in any one religious tradition's dogma. Instead of focusing on creeds and beliefs here, we focus on cultivating relationships, community, and responsible action in this life. We draw meaning and wisdom from many sources too. The healing power of nature, the fierce call of justice work, the enlightening discoveries of science, the ancient teachings of interdependence and unity, and awe for the great mystery itself. Shall we sing the gathering song a cappella, or shall we skip it?
We can do it.
We can do it.
Okay, but not with my voice in the microphone.
1, 2, 3.
We are here together in this holy moment, and we're grateful for the winding road that brought us to this place. We are here together in this holy moment, and we're grateful for the winding road that brought us to this place. Sorry, come on, Sylvie, it's on your order of service, not in the hymn book. Do you? Yeah, you have. I would now like to give the land and climate acknowledgement with a focus on Women's Day, which is what we are celebrating today, a couple of days later. Nova Scotia was named in 1621 in a land deed signed by King James VI of Scotland, who thought that the terrain resembled Scotland itself. This, of course, ignored the Mi'kmaq people, who had been living on this terrain for many, many years, and it remains part of their unceded territory to this day. Now, in 2024, all segments of society are experiencing both a housing crisis and a climate crisis. But some wise planners have found ways to combat both issues at the same time. Sherry Lecker, Executive Director of ADSUM for Women and Children, says, really, what we're saying is that housing can be affordable, accessible, sustainable, and beautiful. A few years ago, they launched a development called Sunflower, which consists of 25 units with a mix of 1, 2, and 3 bedroom units. In total, the development cost roughly $7.2 million from a mix of federal and provincial funds, as well as ADSUM's own fundraising. Buildings were designed to maximize natural daylight, to be energy efficient, and to use solar panels, which mean that the development is either at net zero emissions or very close, says Lecker. While this adds expenses up front, Lecker says it ensures utilities and other operating costs are kept low, which is essential in sustaining affordable housing over the long term. Tenants pay no more than 30% of their pre-tax income in rent, which means that rents are hovering around $300 a month. Sunflower's first tenants moved in September 2022, a great example of building homes wisely for the benefit of the homeless and at the same time reducing greenhouse gases for years to come. I would now like to ask our guest speaker for the day, Sylvie Nayiramana, to come up and read the chalice opening words while I light the chalice. Oh, I goofed. Oh, yes, yes. Apparently I was going to start with opening words, so you can. So, opening words. For the beauty of the earth, this spinning blue-green ball, yes. Gaia, mother of everything, we walk gently across your back to come together again in this place, to remember how we can live, to remember who we are, to create how we will be. Gaia, our home, the lap in which we live, welcome us. Oops. Go
Good
ahead.
morning. My name is Sylvie Nyiramana. I'm so happy to be here and we communicate. The choice word is number 452. Life is a gift for which we are grateful. We gather in community to celebrate the glorious and the mysteries of this great gift.
Nick, can you make these work? Because I can't.
Okay.
There's nothing lit up here.
I could just light the chalice for you.
Yeah, that would be great.
That's tricky, but
There's another one.
this probably would work.
Matt said she brought matches, but I'm not seeing that.
Yes, they're in there.
Yeah, let's do it old school. Matches.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Well, we're off to a great start. And we are going to move into joys and sorrows and complicated truths. So if anyone would like to share one, please get ready for that. We bring our hearts into this sacred space of community and we open them up to each other, for each other, so that those of us who carry pain might be comforted by the presence of a loving community. So that those of us who are happy and well might share our joy and see it multiply in others. And so those of us who carry complex truths might find a welcoming space to process and make meaning of all that life brings. If you have a story, a joy, sorrow, or complex truth on your heart that needs to be spoken in community, we invite you to come up and light a candle to mark your story and remind you that you are not alone. Or I can bring the microphone to you. It's on.
My son and daughter-in-law grandchildren are on their way to Montreal and Quebec City for spring break. They spent last night in a railroad car somewhere between here and Quebec City, and we'll be driving in today in heavy, heavy snow. So just keep the travelers in mind today. Concerned.
Anyone?
No, just connect to rather than mow you down.
We'd like you to remember a couple of our church members. Glenda Butt is still in the hospital, and we send her our best wishes. And also Cynthia Marshall just recovered from a heart attack. So we send her good wishes as well, and we light candles for both of them.
It's easiest to use
Okay. Because it makes with the rubber sticks together.
Maybe I'll light a candle for Bob Munson. You got the email saying that he needed a place to live, and by some miracle, almost on that same day, Northwood called with a place. He's moving in April 1st. So he had been on a waiting list for a year or so. So I'll light one more candle for all the joys, sorrows, and complex truths that remain in the silent sanctuaries of our hearts, the ones that words cannot express, and the ones that are still in formation. And instead of a meditation, which we sometimes do after joys and sorrows, I'm going to read a prayer. It is our quiet time. We do not speak because the voices are within us. It is our quiet time. We do not walk because the earth is all within us. It is our quiet time. We do not dance because the music has lifted us to a place where the Spirit is. It is our quiet time. We rest with all of nature. We wake when the seven sisters awake. We greet them in the sky over the opening of the kiva. And now, Jessica, you'll be so proud of us because we sang the opening gathering song a cappella.
I'll listen to it on the recording. I'll watch it on YouTube.
And now we will sing our first hymn, number 212 in the Grey Book. We are dancing Sarah's circle.
Whoever was playing with the piano, come to me after and let me know. Stand if you wish. We are dancing Sarah's circle. We are dancing Sarah's circle. We are
which was written by Rachel Gore-Fried for Women's Day 2022. Sadly, little has changed in these 2 years. This is a moment for us as a global community to not only respond to the humanitarian crises unfolding, but to understand and learn from the larger patterns we are witnessing in order to build toward our shared liberation. Divesting from extractive fossil fuel industries and focusing on building renewable energy is one clear transformation that will not only loosen the grip of autocrats such as Vladimir Putin, but will also support the global transition to a more just, regenerative economy. With a regenerative labor force, control moves down and out to the people, and with this, a participatory democracy is more likely to flourish. As we honor this International Women's Day, many of us have imprinted in our mind images of women, trans, and non-binary activists on the front lines resisting the unfolding war in Ukraine. Women organizing to defend their homes. Women traveling across borders and continents due to imperial wars of aggression and conquest. Women with agency, doing all in their power to protect themselves and their loved ones, even while bombs and rockets rain from the sky. The heartbreak of this moment teaches us many things, but above all, it underlines the way our societies have been organized for the past centuries, if not millennia, has not served us. Economic and political systems that attempt to suppress women's leadership and agency, systems founded on patriarchy, colonialism, racialized capitalism, and the exploitation of natural resources have enriched the few at the expense of the larger human collective. The concentration of power in the hands of a small number of elite white men has not only failed to advance our collective well-being, it has become an active threat oppressing the safety and survival of the human species. We see this in the way that racism and anti-Blackness have prevented people from reaching safety after being displaced in Ukraine. Even as European neighbors claimed they would welcome everyone harmed by Vladimir Putin's war of aggression, Black immigrants, African students pursuing their studies in Ukraine, and others were subjected to abuse and discrimination when they tried to escape the violence. After waiting 5 hours to board a bus to Poland, one African medical student studying in Ukraine was told, "Sorry, we can't admit you because this was only meant for Ukrainians." Many others had similar experiences. Likewise, the United States, while proclaiming its solidarity with Ukrainian refugees in this moment of crisis, continues to fail the test of humanity at its borders. In the past year, 2022-01, the U.S. has forcibly deported more than 20,000 people to Haiti under international law. The Biden administration has invoked this power of summary expulsion more than 1 million times since taking office. Plainly, the racism and anti-Blackness we witnessed in Europe this week are entrenched in U.S. policies and culture that props up our political and economic systems as well. The geopolitical confrontation in Eastern Europe with its threats of nuclear war also reminds us of the insecurity of basing global economic activity on a system of extraction and ecological exploitation. On February 28th, 2022, the United Nations leading panel of climate experts warned that the globe was fast approaching the point at which it would no longer be possible to secure a sustainable and livable future for all. Yet even with the dangers so clearly before us, we continue to emit carbon. Vladimir Putin has been able to further his aggression, and ordinary people in Russia and around the world are suffering from his actions, in large part because our global economy continues to rely on the extraction and burning of planet-warming fossil fuels. This could have been our land acknowledgement. While these systems of patriarchy and exploitation have failed us, there is an alternative. Centering gender, non-conforming, and women's leadership and feminist models for collective well-being that depend on regeneration rather than extraction, collaboration rather than conquest. For the collaboration is built around movement building to support a feminist, anti-racist, regenerative economy. A regenerative economy is one whose purpose is to further ecological restoration, community protection, equitable partnerships, and fair participatory processes. It is the opposite of the kind of system founded in militarism, extraction, and inequality that we see wreaking so much damage around the world today. On this International Women's Day, we can look to women of color, gender nonconforming, LGBTQI activists for the transformative vision we need. It is not only possible to change course from the ideologies and systems that have led to the present crisis, it is necessary to do so if humanity is to survive and flourish in the centuries ahead. I now have the privilege of inviting Sylvie up to the microphone. Unfortunately, you haven't seen a lot of Clement and Sylvie and the boys because they live in Dartmouth and it's complicated to get them here on a Sunday morning. But we are so happy to have a Unitarian family that we have sponsored as a church refugee SAW, and a group of people called Room for More as their constituent group. We're so happy to have them become part of this congregation. Sylvie Niriyamana is on the board of the International Convocation of UU Women, and she's going to tell you all about that.
Thank you so much, Marlene. Good morning once again. My name is Sylvie Nyiramana, and I'm so happy for this opportunity, especially on this day where we are celebrating Women's Day this month. I'm so happy to be here and share with you a word about International Women's Day. The theme of this year, 2024, from the United Nations is Investing in Women, Accelerate Progress. Imagine a world where women and girls have an equal say in decisions that affects their lives, their body, their policies, and their environment. Imagine a world in which women and girls can live free of fear and violence and have access to quality and affordable education and health care. Women represent a vast but underutilized economic force. Investing in women offers both social and economic benefits. Since my young age, I was privileged to have people invest in me in different ways. And that's why I'm here to tell my story about how important investing in women is. Many years ago, I lived in a village in one of our neighboring countries where I was only guy in that community I could read. Because that country, for them, the girls could not go to school, only boys did. It was 1996. So for me, as growing up in Rwanda, where I went to school when I was age of 5, being that village, when I look back, in that time I was young, but now looking at it, I feel I was privileged that I went to school. Then when I went there, I saw the different that I could read. Sometimes I read for them. They have to wait for their dad to come and read Bible. They are Christian family. Then I can just say, let me read for you because dad is not around. So it was like for them, it was good to have me because I could help them read. That day, the boys was privileged to go to school, but girls did not. Other challenges exist, and I would like to talk about is the access to clean water around the world. In many developing countries, women spend many hours to collecting water. For some, this is a short journey. For others, it's the majority. The search for water is much harder. Walking for hours in unsafe and harsh roads, collecting and carry a bucket of water weighing up to 40 pounds when full. Some women do this while pregnant. Others are responsible for water starting at the age of 5. More often than not, these women and young girls are making multiple trips there for their drinking, hygiene, sanitation, and domestic needs. The worst thing is, after so much effort collecting water, it is often still contaminated and unsafe. Access to water can unlock doors of opportunity, which can easily access to safely managed water. Women and young girls can return to school. They can invest in their profitable jobs or hobby and stay safe and healthier. Some other countries I went, girls are still being forced to get married at younger age. And sometimes they don't have right to choose their partner. Some families do arrangement between themselves according to their profit and what they look into that marriage. But in 2020, I was introduced to this wonderful organization called the International Convocation of Unitarian Universalist Women, ICUUW. The unity and the love they share towards empowering women around the globe is breathtaking. Since I joined, I was able to figure out my calling to be a voice for women. In 2021, we had a training as UU Young Adult about life coaching, leadership, and project management. In the result of being so active and interested, I was selected to be a board member in June 2023 for a term of 3 years. And I look forward to use all my ability to be able to reach as many women and see their life change, because I believe empowering women financially leads to increased family and community prosperity. Women's perspective drive innovation and enhance decision making. Investing in women narrows employment and leadership disparities, fostering inclusive societies. Investing in women's health and education is communal benefit. In conclusion, together we can join our effort and end poverty. Accelerate progress so women and young girls can dream big. Let's all commit to empowering women for a brighter future. I would like you to all take a moment and have a look of a short YouTube video of the organization I'm talking about. Thank you and happy Women's Day.
Good morning. I'm Zsófia Stanicki, Executive Director of the International Convocation of Unitarian Universalist Women, a nonprofit organization doing business as International Convocation, or IWC. On the 10th anniversary of our organization, we celebrate our accomplishments and honor our founders, partners, members, and supporters. IWC is an outgrowth of the first International Convocation of UU women and people of progressive faith, which in 2009 brought 600 people from 17 countries to Houston, Texas, to affirm the need to weave global partnerships to enrich women's lives. This trailblazing event was the brainchild of Laura Nagel, who became the founding executive director of the new organization. Under the visionary leadership of founding president Barbara Kress-Beach and subsequent presidents Reverend Carol Houston, Arlene Johnson, and Reverend Ade Kraba, IWC has blossomed into an organization at the forefront of efforts for women's empowerment and gender equality, endowing more than 3,500 women and girls in Bolivia, Hungary, India, Philippines, and Romania, and Uganda with knowledge, resources, and skills to become catalysts for change in their lives, families, and communities. A special collection at the Houston Convocation that raised $10,000 for African projects helped launch a microloan program near the Ugandan capital in 2012 in partnership with the African Rural Schools Foundation. Over the course of 3 years, 54 women received business training, and 40 women borrowed funds to expand their businesses. In 2017, the project successfully migrated into local hands. The women organized themselves into a new community-based nonprofit. The second International Convocation of UU Women, whose attendance rivaled that of the Houston Convocation, took place in Transylvania, Romania in 2012. The event had far-reaching consequences. Local Unitarian women partnered with IWC to implement projects and programs to uplift and empower women in Transylvania in the priority areas established at the second convocation. Unitarian women from Hungary organized themselves into an association and started offering programs to their members. A groundbreaking leadership school for Unitarian women in Transylvania, initiated in 2014 and continuing today, has provided complex leadership training for more than 350 women. 2 Khasi women participated in the Transylvania Convocation. These women and their colleagues at Senkintei, the women's wing of the Unitarian Union of Northeast India, were inspired by the event and the Transylvanian Leadership School, and decided to partner with IWC to implement a comprehensive leadership development program for Khasi women. Funded by a UU funding program grant through IWC, the Leadership School provided training for more than 300 women in 2015 and 2016. In 2015, IWC organized a gathering in Bolivia, bringing together women from South America and from around the world passionately interested in women's empowerment and response to climate change. A pilot leadership training program in Bolivia, identified as a key need at the 2015 gathering, was implemented in 2019 with funds raised through a crowdfunding campaign. The program continues, focusing on developing capacities for long-term success and strengthening grassroots women's leadership. In addition to leadership development, IWC is actively involved in violence awareness and prevention programs in UU communities around the world. Through UU funding program grants and Faithify crowdfunding, IWC has extended financial assistance to the UU Women's Association of Philippines, UNOS, the Unitarian Women's Association of Romania, and Senkintei, the women's wing of the Unitarian Union of Northeast India, in support of their violence prevention programs. In 2017, over 230 people came together at the Third International Women's Convocation in Monterey, California, reaffirming commitment to work for women's empowerment and fostering global community. Participants left with action steps and ideas they can implement in their own congregations and communities. Plans are now underway for a 4th International UU Women's Convocation in 2023. Our hard work was recognized last year by the United Nations which granted the organization special consultative status with the UN Economic and Social Council, the highest status bestowed upon non-governmental organizations by the United Nations. In a year stricken by the COVID-19 pandemic, there is a second pandemic, threatening major setbacks on precious progress made toward gender equality. From a spike in domestic violence to increased unpaid care work, from loss of employment to heightened vulnerability of female frontline workers, women and girls are disproportionately negatively affected. In this crisis of two pandemics, our empowerment and awareness programs, resources, and advocacy are more important and urgent than ever. On our 10th anniversary, we realize just how far we have come. Together with our partners, members, and committed supporters, we continue to promote the empowerment of women and girls because we believe that gender equality is fundamental for a peaceful, prosperous, and sustainable world. So please join our movement and our greater IWC family as we tackle the greatest human rights challenge in the world. Thank you.
Our next hymn is in your teal hymn book, number
1026.
1026. If every woman in the world.
I'll do that again while you find your book.
Every leader in the world
So our offertory this morning is going to be for the work of the International Convocation of UU Women. Someone will take the plates around.
Fix
The announcements are in your order of service. Is there anything we're missing there?
Remind about Ella's service on
Right. So this coming Saturday, the 16th at 1 p.m. will be the celebration of life for Ella Wilson. I hope to see you all there. Irene,
Hi, in a half hour, we will have a short, some computer around. We will have a short showing of a short that will be in the Oscars tonight on the ABCs of book banning.
a short video will be showing here after the service about the ABCs of book banning that has been nominated for the Oscars
In a half hour.
in a half hour. Etta.
Yes, I'd like to mention that for Ella's celebration of life, some of her paintings will be hanging in the ballroom gallery.
Wonderful. Some of Ella's paintings will be hanging in the ballroom gallery. Ella, for those of you who may not have known her, was a fabulous artist and managed the ballroom gallery for a long time, as I recall. Thank you. We have one last song to sing and then our closing words. So this song, the words are also on your insert or somewhere in your order of service, and it is called Hip Swinging a Safe Road, and I hope everyone will get up and swing your hips and dance for this one.
People are not hurt by strong women. When they're strong, their people are not hurt. Our people are not hurt by strong women. When women are strong, their people are not hurt. All of us together.
the daytime savings time.
A lot of chatter there. So, I will read our closing words and extinguish the chalice, after which we will have our closing song. People say, what is the sense of our small effort? They cannot see that we must lay one brick at a time, take one step at a time. A pebble cast into a pond causes ripples that spread in all directions. Each one of our thoughts, words, and deeds is like that. No one has a right to sit down and feel hopeless. There's too much work to do.
Okay, everyone, I want to see you singing, dancing. Stand if you want, sit if you want. We are here to stand together. And it's all progress. Give us strength to go down winding road until we meet again. We have spent time together, and it's all in always. Give us strength to go down the winding road until we meet again. And our prayer for you is a peace that's true until we meet again. Oh, that was fun. If anyone used to the piano, can you please let me know?
Dave, remind me.
No one used